We wouldn't want to leave our success in business or in life up to sheer luck, would we? Absolutely not. We wouldn't do that unless you're the luckiest person you know. Now, the luckiest person I've ever met was a fellow I met when I was in graduate school. His name is John Carly. There's the luckiest guy in the world. If we were all John Carly, we wouldn't have to worry about anything. John Carly was born in Southern California. He had the good looks of the typical beach surfer. He had a chiseled jaw. He was a beautiful man. Golden hair, perfect physique. I mean, this guy would go around in babes. He was like a babe magnet. He was drafted during Vietnam, but instead of going anywhere, he spent the entire time in the Navy. He ended up somehow getting into the Navy. Spent the entire time in San Diego on the beach and surfing. I mean, this is the luckiest guy I know. In graduate school, when I first met him, he was dating the most beautiful one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. And they'd been dating for a couple of years, and then when they decided to get married. And this guy, I'm telling you what, this guy had a charmed life. So he's all excited about getting married, but he's a little concerned about one thing. There's one thing that's bothering John, and that happens to be his fiance's younger sister. In fact, her younger sister was his 22-year-old, equally beautiful girl, who in those days, this is back in the kind of the early 70s, had a uniform that consisted of the tightest, shortest miniskirt you've ever seen in your life, a tank top that was equally tight, some beach flippers for shoes, and John was pretty darn sure nothing else. I mean, this is a gorgeous gal. On top of that, to make matters worse, she flirted with him all the time. I mean, she flirted with him all the time, especially when her sister wasn't around. So this was bothering John. Well, one morning, John got a call from his fiance's little sister, and she said, "John, can you come by and help me look over some of these wedding invitations?" And he said, "Sure." So he gets to the door, opens the door, and sure enough, here's the little sister, and it's apparent that she's alone in the house. And she's in her normal uniform, and she walks up to John, and she says, "John, I brought you here on false pretenses." And John says, "Yes." She said, "Truth be told, I've always had a thing about you. I'm crazy about you. I want you. And I especially want you before you commit yourself to my sister and devote your life to her. So, if you want me too, then I'm just going to go upstairs to my bedroom, and all you have to do is come up and get me." Now, my friend John was speechless. I mean, he was in shock, and he watched her go up the stairs. Immediately, he turned on his heels and made a beeline for the front door. As he opened the door to head straight to his car, out on the lawn was his entire future family, all smiling and clapping. His future father-in-law comes up and with tears in his eyes gives John a big hug. And he said, "John, you've passed our little test. Congratulations. You truly are the man for our daughter. Welcome to the family." Now, John is the luckiest man in the world. You might say, well, lucky just sounds like a very honorable man. But I knew John. I knew him really well. John was the luckiest man in the world. Do you know why? Because he always kept his condom in his car. Most of us will never be as lucky as John. So we wouldn't want to leave our success, our life, our business to sheer luck.